Fly just landed. Good thinking 29.
Hello. I was thinking to myself as I was thinking about this podcast is that I can't remember if we ever introduce ourselves and like, should we be introducing ourselves every time? But I'm Chris. This is a
These are
podcast
good
about
questions.
like da 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 da, that kind of stuff, like the basic stuff. Like when on the formal podcast, they're like, "Hi, this is a podcast about marketing and trends. Like, welcome to Good Thinking." Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not really our style. But anyway, that's what you're listening
No.
to if you're listening.
Yes. True. And I'm Kirsten. Good morning. Good work. Let's do it. I'm stoked to dig into this one, and I feel super focused and super on it. There were so many things in this week's newsletter, from like the menopause air conditioning knob
So
to
funny.
more people having sex, all the things like I'm super interested in. But I want to narrow it down. I've got two things I want to do a deep dive into. I want to be really thoughtful and jump in and pretty. I think we can do it each in under 10 minutes.
Let's do it.
And get there.
As they say in
So,
Italian, dimmi, tell me.
yes. So, Knix, athletes get periods. Like you can't. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I'm so like delighted by this campaign.
Right? Like I agree. I'm definitely framing it as like the unbranding campaign moment because it feels like similar to like Bandit, how they weren't putting their brand forward. Like Knix is not putting their brand forward, and that to me is like a fascinating, like overarching theme of these campaigns. Is like you're doing this campaign. You have to say you're on your period or have had your period while competing, like da 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 da, and you get paid up to a certain amount, not huge amounts, but like, I mean, hopefully they're obviously thinking volume in their minds. I don't know what the results are. But mention it when you're interviewing, whatever, and then they pay you. And I love the concept of that. And you don't have to say what the campaign is. You don't have to be affiliated with the campaign. You don't have to say Knix is sponsoring it. You don't have to say any of that stuff. Like all you have to say is the words and then they pay you. And to me, that is the best part.
Totally. But they're getting to the root of the campaign. They're not getting there and somebody in the room's going, but what about the brand? Or what about marketing? Or what about this? They're saying like, what's the essence of the campaign? What do we really want to do? This is ridiculous. And I had no idea about this stat, like absolutely none. 1 in 2. So they're saying like, this is a real fucking problem. Let's do something about it. And how do we create the conversation? And then how do we amplify it? And that's all, that is what they're focused on. Oh yeah, yeah. And then we should make sure to put the brand. Oh yeah, yeah. Let's make sure the graphics are clear. So the messaging hierarchy is clear. They understand what they're looking at. They understand what they're reading. They understand what the call to action is. It does tie back to the brand and it's punctuated as the Knix brand, but it's not leading with it, which I think is amazing and brave.
Yeah. And they definitely they hired the big, Megan Rapinoe, she's big, right? Like it's not like they're not putting effort behind it. And I think that's what makes it even sing more for me is that they spent some money on this campaign, presumably. I mean, maybe she's in it for the do good, but likely she's also being paid. I hope she's being paid. Let's just say that. I hope she's being paid well.
Yeah, I'm sure she is.
And then they take their brand out of it. And I think that just makes it's truly, it made me want to do one of these, the little clappy things.
Yeah.
Will you do
totally.
3 of those?
Oh, we moved from this shit. Just when I was catching.
No,
up.
I'm just thinking of the emojis.
Oh, right.
Hands.
Yes.
That's what however many, 10 little clappy hands.
Oh, wow. I think one of the things I love about this is Megan Rapinoe, because I think it's really unexpected. Like, I don't think you're like, let's get an athlete that's going to talk about their periods, Megan Rapinoe. And I think like it shows vulnerability and like strength at literally the exact same time. And I think there's very few humans, athletes that could do that. And I think she kills it at that.
Yeah. Yeah. The video is great. Like the whole thing is really well done. It's big claps.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is I want to see more. Like I want it to be a series with other athletes that are part of this campaign.
Yeah. And I kind of want to be looped into the after part, right? Like I was like, is it working? Like, I don't know. but like it feels like I learned about it through LinkedIn when I think it was either the CMO or the CEO of Bobby, another brand I love,
Yeah.
who are the formula brand, in case you're unaware. And she was giving it like, and I love that because she was giving it like a
Mm-hmm.
plug, and it's not her
Totally.
brand, right? And she's like,
Yeah.
this is awesome. And I love that about, I mean, that's one of the few things I do like about LinkedIn. And but then I haven't really heard about it anywhere else. It's not been in any newsletters I read. It's not like, so I don't know how it's doing, but conceptually love it. Love that they're not putting their brand front and like front facing to the whole campaign. I think they cast the right person. I think they did all the right things. I would love to know, like you
Yeah.
said, like see more legs to it, to make it stand out more, to amplify it, to like do all these things, you know?
Totally. Totally. See more of it, get more involved. And maybe it's all of the UGC content, like that becoming something and pulling that together. Like I want the next chapter of it, and I want to be a part of it, and I want to like be able to cheer on like what's happening continually.
That makes me think of that Molly Baz like thing, and
Yeah.
like when Swehl and then Seed gets on it, and they love that, and like and then it just felt like that campaign like went strength to strength, and obviously I think that was a little bit organic, but like or so they probably hoped that would
Yeah.
happen because they put it
Yeah.
where it was supposed to be provocative, and I do
For
wonder
sure.
like how could they have been a little bit more provocative by getting like because if you're trying to provoke something and like I think the stat is provocative, the person is provocative,
It's
so
shocking.
how could you have basically poke the bear a little bit more? I think that
Yeah.
would have been good.
Totally. Totally. And we'll see where it goes. But I think this is, and we've talked about this a bit, but I think it's all of this. I think we used to live and like survive with all of these things, whether it's, having your period or menopause or divorce or all of these like, ugh. And I think now it's like we're moving from this living, we're moving from this surviving, we're moving into this like thriving. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is going to create me as a badass, and here's how it's going to be, and really pushing it and very empowered and very positive campaigns versus like, okay, well, this is happening. Here's what's happening. It's like, no, no, no. I'm completely taking ownership and control over it. And boom.
Agreed. Agreed. All right,
Amazing.
what's next? Demi.
Okay. The apology. I mean, you can't not talk about this. Yeah. KFC, like it's so good in
Not
so many
KFC,
ways. I'm a
CPK, but
CPK. CPK. Dyslexia coming through. Thank you.
yeah. It's all good. Acronyms are not anyone's strong suit in this group.
Definitely not mine. Yeah, CPK. Like it's so good, and I think it's so good because like they took all of the points, but again, like most importantly, they didn't go, okay, well this is terrible, we screwed up. They completely owned it, and then they added to it. And then the customer got something, like it was really customer centric in what they were doing. It was witty and fun. There was still like a highlight on the product itself. Like
Yeah.
this could have been something where they just like, PR team, come on in, like comms, let's figure this out. But instead they really owned it. And I fucking love that.
Yeah. I mean, they could have honestly probably just not said anything and like let it blow over. And they shined a spotlight on it. And that's even more amazing and so brave. Because, like, honestly, like with everything going on in the world, like, whatever somebody forgets something in an order, like you'll be yesterday's news in like one
Yeah.
millisecond. But like to take it, to own it, to be funny, I highly recommend. If you haven't seen the video we're talking about,
Yeah. Can you break
California
it down a little bit? So yeah.
yeah. California Pizza Kitchen, basically, they make a mac and cheese. Somebody ordered it online, and I'm not exactly sure how this happens. That's not the point. But the portion of the mac and cheese was forgotten. So the person opens the box, and there's just
It's a huge box of cheese. I think it's 50% off because 50% of it was missing. I think that's what they did. But again, yeah, they were brave. They completely owned it. It became customer centric because they offered a discount, and they heroed the product when the guy's actually talking about it. You're like, I mean, I don't eat mac and cheese, but I'm like, oh, well, that looks, kind of delicious. Like they did all the things, but they completely owned it. Harriet might be on that. Amazing. Amazing. So good. All right. We did it. I mean, the flies out here, I don't even know. Oh, you know what was really interesting was kind of the breakdown of how can I speak? The breakdown of alphas and Z's, and really kind of getting into what they're doing within what was it that yeah, the beauty, because my daughter's turning 10 tomorrow, and as I went through that list, I was like, oh yeah, that ordered, or she's in her bedroom, or blah blah blah, like all of the things. Like it's literally to a T. I am wearing on my hand the bug patches. Everything's a patch now. Like everything's a patch. I don't know if it's was it we are in a patch era. Was it the technology that came first, or was it the trend that came first? Who's to say? But like, does it work? I think so. So you just nailed it with that, and like, yeah, yeah. In my household, it's real. No, I want to keep this in under. This one's gonna be a short one. Let's see where we go. I do want to mention we're on the Spotify and we're on the Apple podcast. So sign up, subscribe, love, share with your friends, insights, all the things. Yes. Yeah, there used to be a good barbecue place. I'm sure there still is. We'll find it. Amazing. All right, back to the Olympics.